We put up, it's a blockade. It's a blockade. And you saw the other day where a massive tanker, this was bigger than 2 million barrels, a massive tanker was trying to run it. By the way, more oil is being drilled right now than at any time in the history of our country. We're doing double, think of this, we're doing double Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. Double Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. Nobody knows that. And you see all of those big, gorgeous ships coming up from all over the world because the strait is closed by us, and they're coming to Texas now and Louisiana to load up, big ones. 2 million barrels of oil, the big ones, those are the big ones. And they're all heading up, and you see the line, they call it the conga line. I don't know what that's supposed to represent, but you see those graphs, it's made from Space Force, you know. We were responsible for Space Force. We needed Space Force. We were being killed in space by China, by Russia. In my first term, I created Space Force. First time in 79 years that we did a new division, a new grouping, because you had the Marines, the Army, Navy, the Marines. We had the Coast Guard. We have all of the different branches of government, the Air Force. And they thought the Air Force and the Space Force would stay together, but the Air Force wants the Air Force. They're not going to give, and space is so important now, and we did Space Force, and all of those things, many of those things that you're saying is because of Space Force. And now Space Force is, we were losing badly in space to Russia and China militarily. Now we're way in the lead, way in the lead. We have the greatest space capacity of any country in the world. So we're very proud of that. We need it. We need it for protection because it's a nasty world out there. We need it for protection. So we're very proud of Space Force, but they, among other things, they give you beautiful satellite pictures of what's happening in the world. And when you look at the Hormuz Strait and you see all of those ships, all of those people and ships that they want to get out or they want to get in, they're all over the place. They're like little ants, right? They look like a little anthill. And hundreds and hundreds of ships. And we have a Navy that is unbelievable. We put up, it's a blockade. It's a blockade. And you saw the other day where a massive tanker, this was bigger than 2 million barrels, a massive tanker was trying to run it. And the young captain of the ship from Annapolis, these guys are like central casting. You could put him in. I'd say something about Tom Cruise. I was going to say better looking than Tom Cruise and taller, but I'm not going to do that because he's a friend of mine. I can't do that. But they're like central cast. You could move them to Hollywood right now. They'd be movie stars. But you saw him saying, we have guns trained on your ship. Turn your ship around. Turn. And this is loudspeakers that go over the ocean, and they hear them from 2 miles away. Turn your ship around. Turn your ship around. And all of a sudden, yes, we are going back to Iran. We are going back. They turned it around. It takes 10 miles to turn the sucker. You know, it's not like turning around a bicycle. It's like, it's big stuff. And then we had the other one you saw from 4 days ago where they were going to ram we call it an iron wall. It's essentially an iron wall. We have such great military and great Navy. And they were going straight through. And they said, turn your ship around. And there was no response. Turn your ship around. Evacuate your engine room immediately. And you see all these guys running out of there. Now, they're 5 miles away, and one shot into the engine room, blew up the engine room. The ship stopped. They used tugboats, and then we landed on top of it. On top of everything else, we then land on top of it, and we took over the ship. We took over the cargo, took over the oil. It's a very profitable business. Who would have thought we were doing that? We're like pirates. We're sort of like pirates. But we're not playing games because, you know, for 47 years, Iran has been pushing everybody around. They're the bully of the Middle East. They've been scaring everybody, Israel and Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, all of them. They're all, it was the bully of the Middle East. I understand it.
Why are you not seeking congressional approval to extend it?
Because it's never been sought before. There's been many, many times, and nobody's ever gotten it before. They consider it totally unconstitutional. But we're always in touch with Congress. But nobody's ever sought it before. Nobody's ever asked for it before. It's never been used before. Why should we be different? We're on our way to another victory, a big victory, and I don't think that it's constitutional what they're asking for. These are not patriotic people that are asking. You know, when they say, even the losers, even the ones that say all the wrong things, admit that it's been amazing what we've done. The strait is totally shut down. It's flawless. It's totally 100% shut down. Now, we've been dealing with Iran. They want to make a deal. They're not there. They're not with it. They're sort of, they get close, and then a new group of people come in. They don't know who their leaders are. They have no idea who their leaders are, but they're very confused, and that's because of the success we've had militarily. They essentially have no military. Let me just tell you, the war powers. So many presidents, as you know, have gone and exceeded it. It's never been used. It's never been adhered to, and every other president considered it totally unconstitutional, and we agree with that.
Are you considering new strikes on Iran?
Why would I tell you that? I think most of the people in this room understand that. As soon as it's over, it's going to drop like a rock. I think it goes below where it was because there's so much oil. It's not like it would be a problem if there wasn't a lot. There's so much oil out there. But core inflation has dropped. Grocery prices are down. Used car prices are down. Rent is down. The only thing that is up is the gasoline, and that's coming down. But, you know, with all of this, and I say it again, we had to do this little excursion because if we didn't, if they had a nuclear weapon, this world would be, it would be a horror. It would be a world that would live in fear. And it should have been done for 47 years by other presidents and other countries, frankly, but it wasn't. They were all afraid of Iran. It's very strong, was a very strong country. We've blown the hell out of them, if you want to know the truth. But we've leashed American energy with that simple policy of drill, baby drill. And I'll tell you, we're producing more oil and gas now than we ever have at any time. And we're investing over $1.5 trillion next year in the military. And we have the strongest, the greatest military by far anywhere in the world, stronger than any other country by far. And thanks to our warriors and their allies, the Israeli Defense Forces today, the Iranian regime has none of those things that we talked about: Navy, Air Force, anti-aircraft capacity, no radar. And again, dozens of their leaders are no longer with us. They're elsewhere. Most importantly, though, thanks to our blockade. The blockade has been unbelievable. They're unable to export any energy, and they're crumbling as an economy. If you look at what we've done, I mean, Venezuela is considered one of the greatest military movements in history. There's never been anything like it. And frankly, we're doing just about as well in Iran, but I don't like talking about it until the jobs are finished. Let's not talk about anything until it gets finished. But think of it, their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, their whole place is gone. And then we get people to say that we're not winning. You know, we get the radical left to say, we're not winning. They don't have any military left. It's unbelievable. It's actually, I believe it's treasonous.
WNI yang ditangkap di Jeddah baru ini, saya baru dapat juga. KJRI Jeddah telah menerima informasi mengenai penangkapan 3 orang yang diduga WNI oleh aparat keamanan Arab Saudi di kota Mekah pada kemarin Selasa 28 April. Ketiganya diduga terlibat dalam praktik penipuan dan penggelapan terkait layanan haji ilegal, termasuk melalui penyebaran iklan layanan haji palsu di media sosial. Berdasarkan informasi awal, aparat keamanan Arab Saudi juga menemukan sejumlah barang bukti antara lain uang, perangkat komputer, serta kartu haji yang diduga palsu. 2 dari 3 orang tersebut dilaporkan menggunakan atribut petugas haji Indonesia saat penangkapan. Saat ini KJRI Jeddah tengah melakukan verifikasi identitas para pelaku, berkoordinasi dengan otoritas tempat guna mengawal proses hukum selanjutnya sesuai ketentuan yang berlaku. Dan tentunya KJRI Jeddah juga kembali menghimbau kepada para WNI di Arab Saudi untuk mematuhi secara penuh ketentuan pemerintah Arab Saudi terkait pelaksanaan ibadah haji, termasuk prinsip la haj bila tasreh atau tidak ada haji tanpa izin resmi. Pemerintah Arab Saudi saat ini tengah meningkatkan penegakan hukum terhadap berbagai bentuk pelanggaran haji ilegal, termasuk upaya memasukkan jemaah tanpa tasreh ke kota Mekah. Nah, tentunya pada kesempatan ini kami juga menghimbau para WNI agar tidak mudah percaya terhadap tawaran layanan haji tidak resmi, khususnya yang disebarkan melalui media sosial, serta memastikan seluruh proses ibadah haji dilakukan melalui jalur resmi sesuai ketentuan yang berlaku.
Saya mungkin akan menanggapi pertanyaan yang tadi terkait dengan isu di kawasan. Tadi ada pertanyaan dari RRI Voice of Indonesia mengenai dinamika di kawasan kita. Sebetulnya kalau setiap negara itu kan memiliki kerjasama dengan negara-negara lain untuk mengembangkan sesuai dengan kepentingan nasionalnya. Dan kalau kita melihat bahwa Indonesia untuk pengelolaan di kawasan Indo-Pasifik sendiri, kita mengedepankan prinsip bersama ASEAN yang tertuang dalam ASEAN Outlook on the Indo-Pacific, dan itu telah disepakati oleh seluruh negara ASEAN tahun 2019, yang memang di dalamnya terdapat sejumlah prinsip inklusivitas, keterbukaan, dan kita juga memperhatikan sentralitas ASEAN untuk mengelola isu-isu di kawasan ini, yang tujuannya adalah untuk memastikan adanya stabilitas, keamanan, prosperity, dan juga aspek security. Sehingga bagi Indonesia yang akan selalu kita kedepankan adalah prinsip-prinsip tadi. Terima kasih.
Mungkin satu pertanyaan yang posisi kita yang keluar dari OPEC ya. Pemerintah Indonesia memandang perkembangan ini sebagai bagian dari dinamika tata kelola energi global yang terus berkembang, dan kita berharap perkembangan ini tetap mendukung stabilitas pasar dan keamanan pasokan energi global, dan pemerintah Indonesia tentunya akan terus mencermati perkembangan situasi ini secara menyeluruh serta implikasinya terhadap perekonomian dan ketahanan energi nasional. Dan dapat kami sampaikan kebijakan PEA tersebut tidak mempengaruhi hubungan bilateral yang selama ini terjalin maupun kerjasama strategis yang telah terbina antara Indonesia dan PEA. Demikian, terima kasih. Oh, pertanyaan Pak Stanley Reuters. Jujur saya belum dapat details, and you will get the details at 2 p.m. today. Thank you.
Saya baru dapat update terkait data ABK tadi yang ditanyakan. Kalau yang tercatat di kami itu ada 321 ABK, 81 merupakan awak kapal nelayan, 188 awak kapal niaga, dan 44 awak kapal perikanan. Namun demikian, ini tentunya kita juga sedang berkoordinasi dengan instansi terkait, terutama di Ditkapel Kemenhub untuk mengupdate data-data pembajakan kapal di Somalia. Jadi Kementerian Luar Negeri melalui KBRI Nairobi terus melakukan koordinasi secara intensif dengan seluruh pihak terkait di Somalia, menindaklanjuti laporan pembajakan kapal MT Aner 25 yang terjadi di perairan sekitar Hafun Somalia pada 22 April lalu. Nah, berdasarkan informasi yang diperoleh sampai saat ini, pada kapal tersebut diawaki oleh 4 ABK WNI, 10 ABK Pakistan, dan 1 ABK India dan Myanmar. Upaya saat ini difokuskan pada tindak lanjut penanganan yang melibatkan otoritas pemerintah setempat, tokoh masyarakat, serta pelaku usaha terkait. Berdasarkan informasi terakhir yang diperoleh oleh KBRI Nairobi dari otoritas di Somalia, sejauh ini para ABK WNI yang berada pada kapal tersebut dalam kondisi baik. Upaya penanganan masih terus berlangsung melalui koordinasi otoritas pemerintah setempat, tokoh masyarakat, serta pelaku usaha terkait dengan tetap mengedepankan keselamatan para ABK WNI. Nah, tentunya terkait hal ini kami mohon kepada rekan-rekan media untuk dapat mengelola pemberitaan ini secara bijak karena memang prosesnya masih berlangsung agar tidak mempengaruhi penanganan yang sedang dilakukan. Tadi terkait Bu Cindy, apa saja sih yang dilakukan untuk pelindungan para ABK ini supaya kejadian ini tidak terjadi, gitu ya? Tentunya kita memperkuat koordinasi dengan pihak-pihak terkait di dalam negeri, terutama penguatan data para ABK WNI yang bekerja di luar negeri, karena pendataan ini menjadi sangat penting ketika terjadi sesuatu terhadap para ABK WNI tersebut. Kemudian juga tentunya terkait pelindungan, kita mengoptimalkan forum-forum kerjasama baik bilateral, regional maupun multilateral. Dan yang paling utama tentunya para ABK WNI ini kita upayakan bekerja melalui prosedur yang resmi untuk menghindari hal-hal yang tidak diinginkan apabila terjadi permasalahan ketika mereka bekerja di luar negeri. Demikian, terima kasih.
Terima kasih Bu Dir. Rekan-rekan media, sebelum kita kepada gelombang terakhir, saya ingin hanya menyampaikan bahwa terkait dengan situasi kasus yang disampaikan Bu Dir sebelumnya, kami berharap media dapat menyampaikan pemberitaan ini secara bijak agar proses-proses yang sedang dilakukan tidak terlalu terpengaruh oleh pemberitaan. Kami mohon bantuannya ya teman-teman sekalian.